spoiler warning ahead. If you have not seen this film, don't watch this until you watch the film. The Suicide Squad. That's it. Roll intro. Hello and good day to you all. Welcome to Realism with Reviews, a show that's passionate about the film world in all the universes within it. My name is Christian Spivey, and today we are looking at one of the funniest films I've seen this year so far, and that movie is The Suicide Squad, directed and written by James Gunn. For those who don't know James Gunn, I suggest you pause the video, take out your phone, Google James Gunn with two N's at the end of Gunn, and be amazed of what he's written and directed so far. And fun fact, who he's been married to before, he was married to none other than Jenna Fisher, who played Pam on The Office. For all my office nights out there, I don't think they're called office nights, but office staff, whatever they call themselves. But yeah, he was married to Jenna Fisher. I literally found that out when I was Googling him. So overall, let me give you my rating for this film overall at the beginning. So in general, with everything from beginning to end, to visuals, to acting, to directing, and the writing, and all that jazz with all the hand motions, everything. So if you don't agree with it, I'm so sorry. Don't get mad at me for my opinion. Get mad. I don't know. Actually, I do want you to get mad because I want you guys to comment and tell me what you thought. But my rating overall for The Suicide Squad is an 8 out of 10. For a DC film, that's some bold numbers there, Christian. I know what you're thinking. That's some bold numbers there, Christian. And if you're not thinking that, that's okay. Because listen, this movie was hilarious. You know why? Because it's James Gunn. He has great taste in music. He knows how to pick his cast. He knows what's funny. He doesn't take himself too seriously as a director, even though he's big time now. He places people in parts that we don't even know are perfect for it, but then it blows our minds. Example number one, Chris Pratt. Chris Pratt was in Parks and Rec as this, like, I'm going to talk, this tubby, I wouldn't say loser, but like, you know, character that you wouldn't think would be a Star-Lord or like the lead macho man of a film. But James Gunn's like, hey, Ken, just do it. Just, you know, shed it off, be yourself, and, you know, we'll make you a star. And lo and behold, he's probably one of the biggest A-list stars in the world right now, as far as Hollywood goes. Yeah, so The Suicide Squad is a sequel to its predecessor, Suicide Squad, you know, minus the from 2016. A lot of people didn't like that film, and I get why. Apparently there's an Ayers cut, David Ayers, who directed that film, out there that people want to release because they think that David Ayers and Zack Snyder are the same exact person, and that they're going to get the same exact result as far as what we got from the Justice League, because I thought Justice League, the 4-hour version, the Zack Snyder cut, was phenomenal, but apparently they think that's going to happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I don't believe that Ayers is like Zack Snyder as far as like vision goes and whatever, but I could be wrong. I only seen a few handful of Ayers films, and I mean, I like them, but I don't think an extended version is going to save him. And I think that's why they had James Gunn come in, and that's why it was super good. As far as, I don't know, it's just humor. Like, it was humorous. It didn't take itself too seriously is what I hear commonly, and I agree with that. But let's go through the film real quick. So, yeah, let's go through the film real quick. All right, so opener, strong opener. That junk blew my mind. I was not expecting that. One, I forgot. I didn't even realize that the movie was rated R. So when I was going into it, because I watched it at home, just played it on HBO Max, you know, click, got it, pause it, get some snacks, then come into it. And I was just like, oh my gosh, that was some gory, dark humor that we just experienced in that opening scene. So I did not expect that, and I thought it was phenomenal. I thought it brought James Gunn back to his roots, but with the budget of big time that he has, and he's dealing with like a sensitive topic per se as far as DC. DC doesn't have really good rep with fans and what people like to talk about, and don't like all their films, but I don't think that they were terrible. Like, there are some Batman versus Superman, but whatever. We got some reshoots, we got some new renditions of it, and I feel like this is kind of like a new rendition to it. Yeah, it's a sequel to its predecessor, Suicide Squad, but there's a lot of similarities when it comes to this one. It's like them remaking the Spider-Man movie. It's like a reboot or whatever, but apparently this one's a sequel. Brought back some lovable characters. We got some new characters that nobody's ever heard about, and I think that's what the effect that James Gunn had on the MCU. I think the Guardians were some characters nobody's really ever heard of, and if they were, they weren't those characters, and they kind of introduced them, because a lot of people were introduced to these new characters, these comic book characters, through the films. A lot of people didn't know who they were, their origins, or anything like that, like, except you're like big times that everyone knows. Like, Spider-Man is probably the most notable superhero known to man. Superman is being another one, Batman being another, and the Hulk and Captain America. I'll be honest, I didn't know much about Thor. I didn't know how heavy his presence was in the MCU or in the comic books, the Marvel comic books and whatnot. But yeah, back to the movie. Strong opener, and it was hilarious. Anything that takes a few minutes to get to the title card, that's just like, it's its own in itself. Like, basically, if you show me a short film at the beginning as your opener film, I'm impressed, because you just shoved in a lot of like story, and you got us to get to know these characters real quick without getting attached to them, but attached enough for like, what the heck is going on. But we still have 2 hours left to go through. But as far as the opener goes, that what really got me, especially with like Pete Davidson's scene. If you know what I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. Another reason why I like this film, and I gave it an 8 out of 10, is that all the actors own their characters, even the puny little ones, that the extras that played like nom-noms or anything like that, they owned it. Like, everyone took it so seriously, but they didn't. They just had fun with it. I bet that was one of the best films, or the most fun films, that those actors have ever experienced, because it was genuinely just fun to watch. So I can imagine that it was just genuinely fun to be around all those people having fun and all that. And they're still having fun off screen. I've seen all the interviews and press tours that John Cena has been a part of. He stole the Peacemaker costume, and he's going to interviews and red carpet events and whatnot in the Peacemaker costume to promote this film. So I know they're all having fun with it. I know that they're all the actors that I've seen have posted all their social media, like their experience from behind the scenes and stuff they couldn't post before, but now they can post it, and they're just like going through memory lane. So that's why I know they had fun with it. So when you can see that on an actor's face, even before you find out about it, researching it like I did, it just like it was just fun. Like, everyone owned it and had super fun with it, or at least it seemed that way. I could be wrong. There could be people who hated being there, but I doubt it. The storyline was very familiar. I would give everyone that. Like, it was very familiar, and it was kind of parallel to the first film, but it was a simple story, and it was just like semi-solid. Now everyone can compare and whatnot, but I wasn't thinking that when I was watching it. I thought that after the fact. After the credits rolled, I was like, oh, when somebody mentioned it, I was like, yeah, I see what you say. I see what you mean. But like, when I was watching it, I was surrounded by the star creature and all that. The story was just simple and just semi-solid, just being like, it could have been better, but it wasn't like bad that I was like, oh my gosh, this is pretty similar, blah blah blah, but it wasn't at the same time. So I thought it was really good. It was simple enough where everyone could understand what was going on, even though you had a bunch of characters and a bunch of things going around. You're like, oh, okay, cool, yeah, okay, whoa, ha ha ha. Like, yeah, speaking of ha ha ha, the humor of this film is just humorous. Like, it was a genuinely funny film. It wasn't like everyone says, it wasn't taking itself too seriously, and I feel like people were having fun, and that showed, and everyone was just having a good old time while watching it. Like, the fight scenes were funny at times. I don't think the actors were pushing to get a punchline out. It just naturally flowed, and they all had good chemistry, and it was just organic. And there was dark humor that was just like, I think, set up in a way where it's just like, of course that character would say that. Like, I expect that from him, which is bad, but it was still there, and you just didn't like question it at the moment, at least, or at least I didn't. And I was just like, okay, yeah, he would say that, or she would say that, or yeah, that makes sense. So it was just, the humor of it was just solid, and I was super impressed with this film throughout it, and which is why it has an 8 out of 10. One thing I did notice that it is very James Gunn like I said before, or I don't know if I said it before, but it brought him back to his roots as far as like the gore element, like that he take, like the kills were gruesome. Like, if you say they weren't, then I don't think you watched the same film as me, because that was some hardcore stuff, and at times it can feel like a thriller horror film for like just a few seconds. And it's funny how that fear strikes into you, even though you know what's gonna happen in a sense, but it's like, oh my gosh, like the whole King Shark thing, like his character and how that stuff happens with the num-nums. I was like, whoa, but it was still funny. But I just like knew that, like, if you've seen James Gunn's old work, like, you know, like you should have expected that, especially with that R rating on a DC film. So it was really cool. It wasn't overdone. It wasn't an overt amount of gore. I just thought it was just really fun to watch, and he brought some beauty to some of those scenes, especially Harley Quinn's scene, in the hallway when she's escaping from the house that she was taken to. I think people probably expected a lot of like Guardians type feel from the film, and I think you were right. I think we definitely got it. Like I said, it has a lot of James Gunn elements to it, and we just know what that feels like, and it felt familiar. Did it seem like a Guardians film to me? Sort of. Obviously, like, characters not in space, blah blah blah, but it was just like the humor of it, everyone arguing, everyone not getting along, but like coming together at one point to kick some butt. And so yeah, it's just like I was saying, James element, like, feel. And if you felt like it was like a Guardians movie but like rated R, then I feel like you're right, honestly. Agree to disagree, or tell me that I'm wrong, please. I dare you. Comment on it and subscribe while you're at it. I believe DC is slowly getting better at doing films. I don't think every single film that they produced, as far as this universe goes, was terrible. I enjoyed Man of Steel. Don't care what anybody says. I enjoyed Zack Snyder's Justice League, his cut. I did enjoy Shazam. I did enjoy the first Wonder Woman film. In this one. That's about it. I can't really think of any others, maybe because I didn't like them, but that's pretty much all I can think of as far as that goes. Who is this for? The entertainment crowd. If you want to be solely entertained by a fun film, whether you like DC or not, go watch this movie. It's super entertaining. You don't have to be some deep in cinematic moviegoer, or even the average one. You just got to be a watcher. That period. Like, you just gotta go and just watch it and enjoy it. It's on HBO Max, so you can enjoy it from your home, so nobody has to see you watch it if you're afraid of it. But you shouldn't be afraid to do that. Like, if you like DC, my goodness. Movie who is it not for? I can tell you this: The Weak Stomach. If you don't do good with gore or blood, or like just very what would be the word to use? Very graphic. If you don't do well with graphic content as far as visuals go, even though it's fake and it's not real, just don't watch it, because I guarantee you will not do well. You will not set well in the tummy area, because it's very bloody and graphic. But still, I wouldn't let that stop you. They're quick, fast, and, well, sometimes they're funny, because I feel like that's what it was intended to be. Would I watch this movie again? Yes, I definitely would. I think it's really cool to show people funny movies, and they make it even better if I show it to somebody and they end up liking it, and they think it's funnier than I think. They think it's more funny than I do. I think that's hilarious. I love showing people movies, especially humorous ones, where I'm just like, and I watch them and at the same time watch the film, and I'm just like, this is awesome. Like, it just makes me love the movie more that I'm not the only one that thinks this is funny. So would I watch it again? Absolutely. Would I watch it alone again? I mean, yeah, probably one more, maybe two more times, but I'm watching it again. I'm watching it because somebody else hasn't seen it, mostly. Were there similarities to this film? Absolutely, but they weren't like I said, I didn't notice it until after the fact. So if you were looking for it, you probably would have found it easier than I did. But I'm just saying, I was genuinely just entertained by this film. So did I see him? Yes. After the fact, yes. Do I care that much? Not really. I was entertained. I was happy. A lot of people I hear saying the most common thing was it didn't take itself too seriously and that it was way better than the first one. I agree with both of those statements. I do think that it didn't take itself too seriously. I said that with the whole actor thing, having fun on set with it, that I believe they did. And I don't think the first one was the most absolute terrible thing in the world, but because it was exciting, because we got the first Suicide Squad and first on-screen Harley Quinn new Joker, it was just exciting, and I remember those feelings. And like after, it didn't really match, but yes, it was way better than the first one, absolutely. But like regardless of like, do I think the extended version of David Ayer, what I was talking about earlier, would be better than the theatrical version? I don't know. Shout out to David Ayer for paving the way, for doing Suicide Squad, for giving us Fury and other great movies that he's done that I can't think of on top of my head. Overall, I don't think we would have this new rendition if David Ayer and Warner Brothers didn't give us the first one in the first place. So I appreciate it for that aspect of things, and I definitely love that we got this one and that we have this one to go off of now, and that DC can produce way better films than we realize and give us a lot more than what we got in the first place. So overall, I'm sticking to that 8 out of 10. I'm going to probably put it, everything is 7 and above as far as every individual thing, as far as acting, visual effects, and writing and directing and all that jazz. This whole movie was great. 8 out of 10. I don't think it's a 9 or a 10 just because, of the small minor issues that nobody really cares about, except for people who go way too deep into it, like me sometimes. But it's okay. Overall, I enjoyed watching that film, and I would watch it again, and I really hope that you get to experience this film. I wish I would have watched it in theaters, but I don't regret watching it with my lovely wife in our living room on HBO Max, where it's also showing right now until September, I believe. But overall, great film, super entertaining. I really hope James Gunn has more hand in the DC universe, if that's what they want to go. I heard Taika Waititi is going to start getting his hand in all the universes. He's dipped in Marvel. He's probably going to dip into the Star Wars universe, maybe, hopefully. And then I heard he wants to do a DC film. So let that man have some fun, because he is better than James Gunn. And I will leave you with that. So until next time, this has been Reelism with Reviews. My name is Christian Spivey. Be fair, be loving, be caring, and be blessed. And have a wonderful night or day, whichever it is for you. Later.